So small Class Cs are becoming more and more popular, and Thor is definitely getting on board with that, and I love it. This right here is the Coleman 19CX. The thing I like about this one is it's kind of like a Class B floor plan, but it's going to be bigger. It gives you more space. If you're looking for something that's small, easy to drive, but you want a little more storage, a little more room, this 19CX right here is going to be a great example of that. So let's kind of take a quick walk through and I'll show you some features, some of the things I really like. Starting off with this right here. I have never seen this, and I think this is awesome. As soon as you walk in, you get a beverage fridge, right? So if you just want something quick, you know, I mean, I understand the refrigerator is right there, but how cool is this? You just open this up, grab your beverage out, come back out, right? And you're, you know, hanging out, having a good time. I think this is a super cool feature. Of course, our battery disconnect is there as you'd expect. This one also has auto gen start. So if your battery starts running low, or if there are quiet times in the campground and you need to be able to have that generator start and shut off at certain times, that auto gen start will allow you to do that. So here's going to be our floor plan. And as I said, it's very reminiscent to me of a Class B. The reason I say that is because you have these two sofas on the sides, and then, you know, you can use these as individual beds if you basically want two twins, or you can combine them for one giant bed going all the way across, which I would assume is going to be larger than a king. And the thing I like about this, it just offers a lot of versatility. So you have seatbelts here, so you can have riders, right? 2 seatbelts on each side. And then basically to make the bed up, all you're going to do is right under here, there's going to be this. You'll have 2 of these. Well, it's getting caught. There we go. So you'll have 2 of these. These are going to pull out and they're going to sit right here, right? You can kind of see those, and you'll do that on both sides. You'll then take these back cushions, the backs of them are hard, you will drop them down, and that is going to create your bed. I did just want to point out that they definitely utilize the space here. You can see you have storage behind the seats, which I like. You also have cup holders built in for any additional riders there, and you can see the Lagoon table system. You have 2 of them. You do have one on both sides. Now, I left this one in just to kind of show you, and obviously you'd have a table that mounts to this, and you can kind of articulate that and lock it in place however you want. Okay, so quick note on the table legs. It just occurred to me that people may not know how to use this system, so I'm going to show you super quick. Bear with me. I'm going to have to use my foot just because I'm doing this one-handed, holding the camera with the other. But essentially, you're going to get the table to the height that you want it to be, or at least that you feel like you want it to be at. And then what we're going to do is use this lever. Now, if you turn it, right, like righty-tighty, that's going to tighten it up. But it may not be tight enough with one rotation, and as you can see, we can't turn it anymore. So what they've done is they've built this in here where you can put your thumb right here and actually pull the handle out. And by doing that, it allows you to swing it back down without releasing and gripping. Now when I let it back in, then it grabs again. Now I can turn it again. So it's like a ratchet function. So you'll turn it one way to make it tighter. If I want it to go the other way, obviously I push down and then bring it up so it's not grabbing like that, and that's going to make it looser. Hopefully that makes sense. But when it's time to drop down for bed, lay your bed down, you'll want to remove it because otherwise it sticks up and then it's going to poke you in the back and you don't want that. But take it out, and as you can see, you're good to go there. And I just threw it right over here. I'm sure there's probably a better storage area, but that actually fit pretty darn well. I thought it was very convenient. Whether that was intentional or not, I'm not sure. But again, I do like the positioning. And over on this side, you'll see you have your cup holders here, USB ports for any of your travelers. You'll get storage across both sides up top, LED lights there as well. And then you have an electrical outlet right down here. Also, you're getting MCD shades, right? These are not going to be Lippert branded. These are going to be name brand shades. And I like the fact we went with the beige instead of black, just because at night it doesn't seem as closed in and claustrophobic. Now, as for the rest of it, as we step right back here, this is going to be our bathroom. Now, what I like here is that, you know, yes, you have like this small little wet bath space, but they still have storage in the back on the other side. So right there is going to be your wet bath. You can see the toilet. You have the sink right there in the corner. Of course, our mirror. Hey, and you see the light up top, skylight here as well. And obviously, I mean, I'll step in here for you anyway, but as I'm sure you can imagine, right, you have a ton. I mean, I have so much headroom. So even if you're super tall, you can still shower in here, no problem whatsoever, which is pretty great. And then across the way, as I mentioned, there's storage. So you have storage right up here. You will also get wardrobe. We can see our tables are located right in there, but that is going to be your hanging space. And then you have a couple of drawers down underneath that. So like I said, it's kind of like a rear bath Class B, but you get so much more headroom. You get so much more space in here to be able to move and walk around. You get a nice kitchen, thermoformed countertops, undermount stainless steel bowl with a drying rack, pull-out faucet, 2-burner cooktop here, and then we also get the NovaCool, let me undo that lock, sorry, there we go. You also get the NovaCool fridge here with a little freezer compartment up top, a couple of crisper drawers in there as well. And then over to this side, you can see a bank of drawers, electrical outlet, and then of course our convection microwave oven up top, roof-mounted AC as you would expect in here. And then as we take a look at the cab over, we can see that these right here are going to be removable so that you have some storage if you want to take those out. Cup holders there as well. We have the curtain right here for privacy. You'll also see your window up top there. And then across on the other side is going to be our TV, and that is already on a swing arm mount. Now, quick look at the chassis. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this just because if you've seen one, you've seen them all. But the thing I do want to point out is the fact that this one is currently built on the Chevy chassis. So with this particular unit, you do have options. You can build this one on the Chevy or on the Ford chassis. Just depends on what your preferences are. I also just want to show your TV hookups there, as well as a little bit of extra storage right up above the doorway. So let's take a step out, take a quick look at the outside. Just kind of show you some of the features here. As we take a step back, one of the things I always look for in a Class C is going to be the front cap. The reason being, or if they have one, the reason being is that this is generally, historically for Class Cs, where a lot of the water intrusion would happen, because essentially the seam would be right here and all that water would just drive into it as you're going down the road, and then you have a leak, and then you have smells, and that's why your grandparents' Class Cs always smelled like mold. But what they have done is they now have a cap on here, so it wraps it around, so that way the water is not going to drive in there, helping to protect that front cap from all that water. That is huge when you're looking at durability of the coach. As I mentioned, this one is going to be on the Chevy chassis. That Chevy chassis is a 6.6 liter V8 with 401 horsepower, 464 foot-pounds of torque. If you go with the Ford E-Series, that'll be a 7.3 liter V8 with 325 horse, 450 foot-pounds of torque. So again, it does give you a few different options. Right up top is the power awning with an LED light strip there that does essentially cover the entire side of the coach. And outside of one exhaust vent right here, there isn't going to be any other utilities on this side. So this does give you some excellent additional camping space. Electrical outlet there for anything you need to plug in. Then a few different storage bins. What I do like about Thor in general is that this right here, you get rotocast bins, so they're easy to clean and they're going to be lit. So if you have to get there and if you access it at night, it's easy to do so. Now, what I will say, one downside of this coach is that there's just not as much storage as you normally find on the exterior of a Class C. And that's to be expected, I guess, right? With this size, I mean, it's just not a very big coach, so you can't expect a ton of storage out here. And so, you know, what you see here is kind of what you get. Now, as for the generator, it does have a generator, but uniquely, it's going to be housed right back here. So you can see right there, you get the 4,000 watt Jenny. You also have this, which is great. You get the tow hitch. That is an 8,000 pound rated hitch. That is going to be huge. So if you're looking to tow something a little bit bigger, you know, this has the capability to do it. So what you may not realize when you think about towing with Class Cs, all the Ford Class Cs, for example, are going to have the same engine, right? They're all going to be that 7.3 liter. So what makes the difference in what you can tow is going to be the hitch that it's rated with to make sure the hitch is going to be capable. But also more importantly than that is the weight of the coach. So if you have a, 35-foot coach, it's going to have the same engine. It's not going to be able to tow near as much as something shorter like this. So if towing something behind is going to be a big deal, you have a heavier vehicle or a heavier trailer, something this size is probably going to be ideal. A couple other things I want to hit on. Sorry, you can see it. I'm in a show environment here, but just want to hit on a few things on this side. One of them is going to be right down here, so you'll see that you have easy access for your tanks to be able to dump. You can see the termination as well as your black and gray tank valves right there. We'll also, if we come up, one thing I do want to note, by the way, is that this is not insulated, which is very common for Class Cs. So I just, if you're thinking about cold weather camping, we'll have to do a lot of prep in order to make that happen, just as an FYI. Right up top here is going to be your tankless water heater. And then freshwater inlet, your 30 amp detachable power cord will go right there. Cable, city water inlet, black tank flush there. And then our fuel fill there, as well as propane. And then one additional storage is going to be right up front there. So if you're looking for something a little bit smaller, something like this, and you want to know how much it is and where you can get one, well, we try to do the best we can, and you will see a link in the description. And what you can do is click on that link, and not only will it show you the Coleman 19s nearest you, but it'll also give you transparent pricing. Thanks again for watching, folks. I'm Ian Baker. Until next time, we'll see you.